Are you going to meow? Are you going to stay up here and meow? Are you going to meow the whole time? Oh, stop. Don't be so cute. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, hi, hello. My name is Katie, and for those of you who are not new, my name's still Katie. We know this by now. It's nothing, we don't get something special. It's still Katie. But welcome back. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. If you noticed, I did not post the past 2 weeks. Mind you, I did a live, so that kind of was like, so I didn't post a video 1 week, and then I went live, and then I warned you not to meow. But I am back, and I am here to do my top 10 reads of the year. I went through all the books that I read. I read a total of 60 books this year. Will it be 61 by the time the year ends? Probably so, but right now we're going with 60. That was my Goodreads goal. I achieved that, so I'm very happy. So I went through all those books, and I chose the top 10 that really stuck out to me this year. You probably already know. If you're a member of Paige and I's book club, you already know what book 1 is. So book 1's not changing. That is my top read. However, books 10 through 9 can change. They can interchange at any point in time, however I'm feeling. So we're just going to start with 10 and work our way down to the number 1 read. Okay, so for number 10, I read a new author this year. I read a book from Collier Reid, and I really enjoyed it, so much so that it is number 10 on my list. This is Unravel. This is book 1 in the Fairfax Institute. Now I can't remember what the series is called. It's a duology. Oh, you would do that to me. And to me, I mean, I'm talking to myself. I'm pretty sure it's Fairfax. So this book, it's a little hard to explain, so I don't want to give away any spoilers. But we are following our heroine, whose name is totally Naomi. That's right, Naomi. And she is in this institute because she was put in there by her parents because she had this breakdown. But did she really? Did she really? That is what we're trying to decipher. So she gets visited by this guy who is her love interest in this book, but she also blacks out and time travels to another time where she's with this other guy. And I'm pretty sure the other guy is Max. I want to say it's Max. And when she travels, her name is still Naomi, I think. I don't think her name changes. No, but the guys change. So she's with someone, and then but just kind of go in blind and just kind of trust the process, because the twist had me twisted. It was so good. This sets up book 2 really well, I think. So book 2 is about a different person in the Institute that we meet in this one. And I heard that's even better. So I definitely want to read it next year. But I really want to read more books by Collier Reid because I really enjoyed the writing. So, and I have a few on my TBR that I would like to read. So this definitely number 10. Probably more so, this is probably up there. This is probably 10 through 5. It's not a top, but it definitely deserves on the top list. Number 9 goes to Heartless by Elsie Silver. I finally read it. I finally got the hype of why this book in particular is so many people's favorite in the series, okay? I get it, girl. I'm here with you. I even tabbed this book. Who is she? Not me, because I don't tab. I never do, but I tabbed this one. Oh gosh, guys, why did I do this? Because I can't remember people's names. I know we are following Willa. Willa is the heroine in this story, and she is friends with Summer from book 1, and Willa needs a job. And it just so happens that Summer's boyfriend, Rhett, has a brother. Dear Lord. I think it's Ford. I'm feeling like his name is Ford. Hold, please. It's not. It's Cade. It's fine. I don't know where I got Ford from. But Cade is a single father. He's a cowboy. He does a lot on the ranch. And he needs a nanny. Well, in comes Willa. However, they have already met. When she comes into town, they meet at the local coffee shop by like accident because she is like rummaging in her purse, and out drops a pair of underwear that she keeps in her purse. You know, they're clean, but she keeps them in there. And he goes to pick them up and she goes to give them back, and she's like, nope, finders keepers. You have fun with those. And she leaves, but little does she know that he's the guy that has the son that her friend's talking about that needs the nanny. And this girl right here, she's a spitfire. I loved her so much. She just says what's on her mind. She is the woman I wish I could be in public. Like, I wish I could say these things to these people. I can't, but I would love to. And a scene that sticks out in my head is the birthday party scene with the little kids. If you know, you know. Willa, my girl, love it. I'm so glad that I continued with this series. Now, do I still have to read the other 3? Yeah. But we're just taking it one book at a time. She did make top 10 though. After that is a book that I do not own, but it is The Birthday List by Devney Perry. This book is book 1 in the Mason Jar kind of duet. And in this book, we are following our heroine who at the beginning of the book in the prologue loses her husband. And then we jump 5 years later and we learn in the prologue that he was making a birthday list. He was making a list of all like the bucket list things that he wants to do before each birthday. And since his death, she has been attempting to complete those, and she has been. So one of the goals was to open a restaurant, which she is starting at the beginning of the book. And then another goal is to do a karate class. So she goes to a local karate class. Well, it's not local, but it's like close. And the karate instructor who's there doing the class is also the cop who showed up at her doorstep at the beginning of the book to let her know that her husband had passed away. And he remembers her. And she remembers him. And it's been like 5 years at this point. So like time has passed. And he is like, she's very pretty. She's still very pretty. I want that. So this is not insta love though. Okay. So he really takes his time. He knows that this is hard for her, but he helps her. He helps her with the list. He is a cinnamon roll. He's a cinnamon roll and he's a cop, but oh my gosh, there's so many things that she needs to do for the list, and he just helps her complete those. And he never pushes her. He never like throws himself like at her or like onto her. It's always like in her time when she's ready. I just loved this book. I loved this book so much, which is why it's on my list. But if you haven't read it, oh my gosh, give it a chance. It really is so good. The next book is book number 7, and it's another book that I do not own, but it is What I Should Have Said by Max Monroe. This was my first Max Monroe that I read, and I really enjoyed it, hence why it's on my list. However, there is some trigger warnings. I don't want to say what they are because I feel like it gives it away. So if you need triggers, or if you have triggers and you want to know what the triggers are, I will have them in the description, because I just feel like if you know about this, it ruins the book. But I also feel like it's a big trigger for people, so you should know. But in this book, we are following our heroine, and gosh, it's been a while since I read this, but I'm pretty sure she is about to get married at the beginning of the book, and someone drops an envelope off at the wedding, and it's got some stuff in it about her soon-to-be husband that she's just like, gotta go, can't marry you. So she hightails it out. Like, her mom is high society, so this is a big deal wedding. So for her to leave, mayhem. So she decides to go to Vermont, where her estranged sister lives. And she gets on the bus, she's got her luggage, which is all, very fancy luggage. And she gets off the bus, and it's still like miles and miles away from the small town that her sister lives in. So she's just hightailing it, she's booking it. And this truck comes by, and she almost like runs out in front of it. He almost runs over her, and he's like, dear Lord, this woman, what is wrong with this woman? She stops. She's like, hey, please, I need to get to this town. Can you help me? And he begrudgingly is like, sure, get in. And as soon as he does that, he's like, I should not have done this, because this girl will not shut up. She will not shut up. She's a prima donna. She's got the so he like lets her off at the middle of the town, still not where she needs to be, but he follows her to the sister's house without her knowing to make sure she gets there. But little do we know that he is a single father who was in need of an assistant slash kind of nanny for his daughter who was terminally ill. That probably gives you a little inside tidbit of the trigger warning. So she ends up getting the job as the assistant slash like nanny, and it just kind of goes from there. The little girl is so sweet in this book. She loves the color pink. She has these little pink sunglasses that she wears. They're little heart-shaped, which is why they're on the cover. This was a tearjerker. But it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. But just know there was a trigger. Speaking of triggers, book number, is this 6? 6. The MindF series by S.T. Abbey. I read this in February. So this is, at this point, if you don't know what this series is, I don't know what to tell you. Like, where do you live? Do you not have the internet? Do you not watch booktube? Do you not watch TikTok? Like, what? But if you don't know, I will tell you, because that's my job. This is about Lana. And Lana is a female serial killer. She is going around getting revenge on the men in her town that did something very, very horrible to her and her brother when they were younger. Triggers. Look them up, they'll be down below. There's a lot. This is gory, just know. But if you're like me and you're desensitized to everything, you'll be fine. So anyway, she is a serial killer. She's notorious. They are looking for her. The FBI is looking for her. And one day she goes to a coffee shop and she just happens to meet an FBI profiler named, I don't know his name. It's not important. I remembered her name. That's all that matters. And they meet, but he just so happens to be the head profiler who is trying to find out who is doing the killing. She is, my sir. She is. It's good. There's technically 5. This is the bind up of all the novellas. This was the Mystic edition. But each novella is like 100 to 150 pages each. You could do this all in a day. If you haven't read it and you're like, I'm putting it off, just read it. Like, if you love Criminal Minds, if you love any kind of like getting into the mind of a serial killer in a good for her moment, this is your book. You need to do it. This is your sign to go read this book. More trigger warnings for this next book. Okay, book number 5 is Hills of Shivers and Shadows by Pam Godwin. This is book 1 in the Frozen Fate series. This is a dark romance, okay, people? Dark. So if you have triggers, please look them up. If you do, like, if I went in not knowing anything, and I was okay, but I have no soul. I'm kidding. I'm just very desensitized. But again, like, reading this book did give me a reaction, however, to one of the scenes. I did get a react. I about said I got an erection. Can we not? That's stop. Mouth, stop. Did give me a reaction to one of the scenes. So I will put trigger warnings in the description for you guys, because I feel like it's important for your health, for your mental health. But in this book, we are following Frankie. And at the beginning of this book, she has an argument with her husband. He is very well-to-do. They live up in Alaska, like on their own little island. And they get into a fight because she finds out that she's pregnant. And he's like, no, I had a vasectomy. This ain't happening. There's no way. And so he leaves. And in the process of he goes to work. He doesn't leave, but he leaves. And in the process of him coming home and him leaving, she's like, I don't know what to do because I want to keep the baby. So like, I'm going to leave. I'm heading out of here. So she packs up. And as she's packing up, a man named Denver comes and abducts her. So of course it kind of looks like she just up and left and like nothing happened, because like he takes all her stuff, passports, all the stuff with him. So it kind of just looks like she left. And he takes her by boat and then by like bush plane up to the Arctic Circle, where he lives with his 3 grown sons on this little, like, well, it's not little, but it's like a cul-de-sac type. They've got like a house and they've got like a workshop, and it's, and it's the dead of winter. Like, winter is here winter is here. And it's a book about survival. It's a book about, it's a lot. It's just a lot. There's a lot about survival in the cold, finding out how they're going to just survive. It's about finding out secrets of this place and what has taken place. And it's a lot. This is only book 1. Have I started book 2 or 3? No, but I will, because that's like definitely something I need to do, because this book was so good. But again, it is so dark. The next book is book 4, and that is going to be The Silent Waters by Brittany Cherry. Oh my gosh. So this book is book 3 in the Elements series that she has, and this is by far my favorite. If I have to put them in order so far, it's book 3, book 1, and book 2. So in this book, we are following our heroine. I always say it too fast, and I can't remember her name. Maggie. That's her name. Well, Maggie and her father end up moving in with his girlfriend that they've been dating for a while, and they're going to get married. And she's got two children, a son and a younger daughter. And I'm pretty sure the son is the same age as Maggie, or if not, like a year older. But he's got a best friend who has a name. For the life of me, Brooks. Brooks is the name. And she's always saying, Brooks, you and I are going to get married and all this stuff. And one night she tells him, hey, we're going to have like a practice wedding in the woods. And please make sure like you wear this specific tie and all this stuff. And she goes into the woods and she sees something that she was never meant to see, and it traumatizes her. I'm pretty sure she's at 10 years old at this point. And Brooks is late to showing up. So that is why she sees this, and she just goes mute. She is completely traumatized after that point. She does not speak. And from there, she just does sign language, or she writes it all out. And Brooks feels very guilty about this, because he's like, I should have been there. If I had been there, that wouldn't have happened. So he kind of, he takes it really hard, and he really takes care of her throughout. Like, they become best friends. He's the only really one that like understands her, because it is really, it wreaks havoc on the family because she doesn't speak. And of course they tried the therapy and everything to help her. And of course when that happens, I feel like the two other siblings kind of get pushed back a little bit when something like that happens. So we follow them. Part 1 is when they're like 10, 11. Part 2 is teenagers. And then part 3, we do a little time jump to where Brooks and her brother are now these famous musicians. And they're touring the world, and they're coming back for like a hometown visit. And they reconnect after them not speaking for like 2 years. And then that is when the romance kind of begins. But it is so good. It is so good. And this cover right here, this cover is a scene in the book. And I love when authors do this. Oh, he helps her to heal. And then something happens and she has to help him to heal. It is a healing book, and it's so good. And you need to read it. If you haven't, you need to. Book number 3, I do not own, but it is Broken Harbor by Catherine Cowles. This is book 3 in the Sparrow Falls series, and my favorite. It is my favorite because I have come to realize that I do love myself either a single dad or a man, or like a single mom, or the man kind of like steps in and takes care of the kid. I don't know why I love it, but I do. It gets my ovaries going. Apparently it's a primal instinct. But in this book, we are following, oh my gosh, why do I not know the names of any of these people after I read the book? I want to say Shannon. It's not, though. The heroine, oh, well, I know Cole. Is it Cole? Copeland? Cope. It's the guy. Okay, we're just going to go with this. We got our heroine, who is a single mom, who owns the bakery in town, and then we have Cope. I'm pretty sure his name's Copeland, but they call him Cope, who is a famous hockey player and who was the brother of the main characters of book 1 and 2. So her son is a big hockey fan. He loves hockey. he wants to do the summer camp, so she allows him to go. And little does she know, his favorite player, the Reaper, is going to be there, and that happens to be our hero. And he's just smitten. He's a smitten kitten when he sees her, and he loves her kid. And we learned that some things happen with her and the landlord of her building, because she lives on top of her bakery, and the guy's a sleazeball. And since our hero has so much money and has this big house, he's like, why don't you guys come stay with me? We'll be on opposite sides of the house. It's fine. And of course, the forced proximity, just, it helps this relationship to develop. I loved this book. Definitely my favorite of the 3 so far. And I mean, you don't have to read them in order, but it's just more satisfying when you do. So if you haven't had a chance to get to the series yet, I highly suggest it. Number 2 is another one that I do not own, but she is coming. She is coming in the mail. It'll be here next week. And that is book 2 in the Bourbon Boys series by Victoria Wilder, and that is Burbon and Secrets. Can we take a second to appreciate the beauty of these covers? She killed it. She and the designer of whoever designed these killed it. I love the vintage vibe. I love it. Oh my gosh. That's why I had to buy them. They are coming. They are coming. But this book, we are following the oldest. Oh my gosh. I just read this book. What is his name? Lincoln. I think his name is Lincoln. Lincoln Fox, who is the oldest Fox brother. You know, one of the owners of the bourbon distillery in town. And we are also following, what's her name? It's right on the tip of my tongue. What is her name? I can't remember her name. But I know her stage name is Rosie because she is a burlesque dancer. So at the beginning of this book, we get a little prologue of what happened. And Fox and Link, I want to say Fox, but his name is Lincoln. Is it Lincoln? Now I'm so confused. And I don't know why you watch me. And so we start with the hero coming home after he had a fight with his wife, and he goes in and he's still kind of trying to cool off. So he goes and walks around in the field, and he hears some rustling going around, and he sees the heroine is she's doing something she shouldn't be doing. She's got a knife. She's digging a hole. She shouldn't be here. And he catches her, and he pretty much blackmails her to leave. Because you got to get out of town. He's like, I won't say anything that I saw, but you have to get out of town, which she was planning to do anyway. And when he goes back home, and he discovers that his wife has passed away. I cannot remember if she was murdered or if she just died naturally. But they had 2 daughters, so now he's a single dad. And I think it's 8 years that go by, 8 to 10 years, and the heroine is now coming back into town because she is a burlesque dancer, but she's also a private investigator. And the police station has been using her to kind of get into the crevices of a case that they're doing. And one of the men is into burlesque dancers, so she has been kind of not dating him, but kind of goading him on and bringing him to this town because that's where the cops are, and the FBI is all looking into her. So of course, well, not her, but him. And she's just helping. So now that she's back, he's like, what the heck are you doing here? You said you would never come back after that night. And she just happens to moved in with her estranged sister, who happens to live beside him and his daughters. And when I tell you the banter in this book, oh my gosh. When I tell you I loved this book, I loved this. This book is my favorite out of the 2. Oh my God. It's so spicy, and it's so bantery, and it's just so good. It was so good. So good. Do yourself a favor. Read these 2 books, book 1 and book 2, before the next book comes out. You will thank me. We are on to the last book of the year. If you are a member of Paige and I's book club, you know what this book is. I have not stopped thinking about this book since I read it in February. I still think about this book. I don't think about books a whole lot. I read them, I enjoy them, they're great. But this book, this book did something to my soul. Now, little drum roll, please. Maestro by Audendar. This is a masterpiece of, this is not a romance. This is a love story. Because this travels time. I am talking 20 years. We are learning about these people. We are into their lives. We are invested. We are gut-wrenched when things happen. It is amazing. If you love A Love Letter to Whiskey, you will love this book because the angst is there. It is, oh, I can't even talk. Okay, let's dive in. Okay. So in this book, we're following Chadwick. Hello, Chadwick. We're going to call him Chad because Chadwick is not a pretty name. And he is a very talented musician. He plays the violin. Or does she play the violin? I'm pretty sure he plays the violin. And when the book starts, he is 13. And I can never say her name. It's like Aurelia. It's a weird name. She is auditioning for this very prestigious school in New York for musicians, and he meets her there. And he kind of gives her these tips for her audition to kind of like stand out. And she goes and auditions and she gets in, and of course he's getting in because he's a prodigy, literally. And they become best friends. And as they grow older, the friendship turns into romance. And by the age of 17, 18, they break up. And we get a little time jump after that. And they're in their 20s, they're in college, they meet up again. But it's never the right time. And so they never get together. And it's heartbreak after heartbreak. And I'm like, stop it. You're killing me. But it's also the best book that I read this year. It's long, but it needs to be. And it doesn't feel like it's long when I was reading it. There's just so many times I wanted to throw this. I read it on my Kindle, so I wanted to throw my Kindle. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw up. I wanted to do all the things because this book just had me in my feels. I mean, yes, it does have an HEA. If you're worried that it doesn't, it does. It just takes they're just their lives and the people in their lives and the circumstances that keep pushing them away from each other and keeping them away. And I just, please, if you're going to take anything from this, read this book. Read this book and then tell me you loved it, even if you didn't, because if not, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Number 1 spot goes to this. I don't know how I'm going to top it. I don't know how I'm going to top it next year. Those are my top 10. Those are the books that stood out to me, that I loved, or that I keep thinking about every single day for the rest of my life. But I hope you guys had a great reading year. Let me know down below, what was your top read of this year? Like, what was your ultimate favorite? Or if you didn't have a favorite, but you want to leave me an emoji to let me know that you were here, leave me a musical, like, emoji, violin, guitar, something that has to do with music, because a good old Maestro here, he has a way with music. But if you are new here and enjoyed this video and would like to see more content from me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. It really does help my channel reach other people. If you want to follow me on my social media, my Goodreads and my Instagram is down below, linked as always. But I hope you guys are having a great end of the year. I have my January TBR coming up, as well as my December book haul / Christmas book haul. So get ready for that. But I hope you guys are having an amazing day or evening, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.